Chapter 317 of My Hero Academia just screams foreshadowing. And Deku, in the words of the 1988 hit, "You don't know what you got till it's gone." You are about to be brought back down to earth very quickly at the rate that you're going. Chapter 317 is titled Scars, Blood, and Filth, and is continuing the overall dark approach that My Hero Academia has been taking the last, 50 chapters now, maybe even 100 chapters going back now. That is just continuing to get darker, and even the ending panel in this chapter really shows the state that Deku's in, and clearly something's about to change, and we'll talk about why that's going to be. My name is Andrew Nimsger, and let's break down everything that happened in this newest chapter of the manga. So to start off, despite the mansion blowing up, everyone makes it out pretty much unharmed. Deku's already gone, and all the heroes are at a warehouse at the seaside, and they're all talking, seeing if they can get any more information out of Lady Nagan, because now that the mansion exploded, they are not going to get any more information out of anything that was happening there with the leagues of villains. Hawks doesn't think so, because they don't even know how Lady Nagan's alive pretty much at this point. She's in very bad shape, so they're happy that they got a little bit out of her now, but they pretty much don't have any other avenues. They get information right now and continued back pretty much where they were at step 1 of finding All for One. Edgeshot brings up the idea of pretty much banding together all the existing heroes, telling them about All for One for All secret pretty much, and so that they all can rally around Deku to go after, get a large investigation, and try to get something going, since at this point they really don't have much left, and he kind of has a point here. But they're pretty much saying that all the brunt of the investigation is falling on Deku, and that's why he's not there right now, and he's doing everything he can, and the police are dealing with their own problems, so they should try to gather as many allies as they can while they still can. It kind of brings up that Death Arms, that we've seen a bunch of times throughout the manga and the anime at this point, actually just retired. He was saying things that he's just a human, he's not a hero, that the voice of one kind of naysayer outweighs 10 fans, and that he just couldn't take it anymore. And he was someone that seemed like a very true hero during the war arc. So now the fact that he couldn't take all this and now he broke means that even heroes that we thought were pretty much unshakable at this point are starting to go, which means you have one last chance to kind of rally the troops before they slowly start to dwindle, and any chances of winning become almost none. So again, a really good points being made here, and no one knows what to do here. But the big thing that everyone's kind of wanting to understand is, why isn't All for One revealing One for All to the public themselves? Because pretty much all of the public would then go against Deku, saying like, hey, Deku, this one boy is the reason for everything we're doing. We just want him, and then everything can go back to normal. Your lives will be fine. We're not going to go after things anymore, which of course isn't true, but the state that the public's in, they're looking for any way out of this, and they don't trust heroes, so just trying to find a solution and handing over one hero to get society somewhat back to normal, I'm sure a lot of people will be willing to do right now. So there is something kind of going on behind the scenes there. Maybe that's because he can't quite feel the quirk yet, or I think that's something that's going to be revealed in upcoming chapters. But there's a reason that this hasn't gone public, because obviously we've seen that Dabi has no issue going public and trying to turn the public against heroes, which has worked up to this point. After a little bit of moment of silence, Endeavor's phone rings, and he sees a text from Shoto saying to pick up the phone, and he kind of apologizes in his head, saying, "I'm sorry, I know we're going to go after Dabi, but we have to figure this out first." And then Hawks pretty much right afterwards gets a notification from All Might saying that Deku has already taken down the second assassin, and she pretty much did it immediately with no real harm or anything done to him. At the scene, Deku immediately tells All Might that he knew nothing and that to be careful because he might explode some late again, and begins to take off again. All Might yells back saying, "Hey, wait, slow down, let me give you some food," but Deku tells him that All Might doesn't need to follow him anymore, that he's fine on his own. All Might's trying to find the right words, saying that he knows Deku's just trying to keep him safe, but he also can't just leave this poor boy, because All Might, more than anyone else in the world, knows what Deku is shouldering, and shouldering that by yourself is not a great thing. We get a couple of callbacks to seeing Sir Night Eye saying if All Might continues down this path, he'll die a horrendous death or whatever it is. And Deku makes a good point, saying that he can basically move at 100% without injury, with no kind of recoil, and that he's as strong as All Might was basically in his prime, but he has a bunch of other additional quirks as well there too. Deku does take off, and All Might continues to run after him and kind of trips with the hand reaching out, and again kind of the foreshadowing that Deku is now leaving behind All Might and unbeknown to both of them, Stain is in the shadows listening to them, which is such an interesting take and kind of a moment for him to show up, because these are the two people that he considers true heroes. We saw all the way back he saved Deku, and that he only saw All Might as the true heroes and was pretty much trying to cleanse Hero Society of everyone else. So kind of getting an updated stand of this viewpoint is still like, hey, I'm only here for the true heroes. These two are still good. Or if seeing how Deku is acting is like, Deku's no longer a true hero, and we have that confrontation. Maybe he just totally flips side and he goes and kills All Might, with the foreshadowing that I talked about, that All Might's no longer this true hero and that he's not needed anymore, and just kills him straight out here after a long conversation in a chapter or two. I think Stain coming in at this moment where Deku's going down such a dark path, and in the last panel seeing him looking more like a villain and scarier than pretty much any other villain we've seen in the entire manga to date, I think having him come in at this time is either going to be a wake-up call for Deku in a conversation that they have, because Deku loves to talk with every single villain that he fights, or he goes and tries to kill All Might or Deku, saying that you're no longer a true hero. And that's another thing that could kind of snap Deku into it. Like, Stain is a psychopath. Let's not get that wrong. He is not a good man, but his reasoning always made sense, and he's someone that stuck to his logic up to the point of where he went in jail. He's been in jail for quite a while now, but I think this is going to be a really good moment to hopefully wake up Deku, bring him back down to earth, and kind of get that one chance to get all heroes together to go after All for One as one big group. Chapter 317 was awesome. There's not a lot going on, but the conversations early on in the beginning of all the good points being made between the pro heroes of what the next steps do, and that they're at a complete loss, and heroes are losing every day that they don't capture All for One. They get weaker because heroes are leaving while more people are going over to the villain side, or the villains are getting more powerful, and citizens are just kind of in the middle ground and turning more and more against heroes as they've seen incapable of being able to stop what is happening. So chapter 317 is great. Chapter 318 is going to be even better, with Stain finally coming back into the picture. One of my favorite villains just because of his ideologies and how much he sticks to that. I'm really curious to see how they're going to bring him back into the story and what the future is going to be for Deku, Stain, and All Might. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you come back next Sunday for chapter 318 breakdown, where we talk about everything that's going to happen. And if you're looking for other My Hero Academia content, make sure to go check out youtube.com/class1a and check out all of our other My Hero Academia content. Thank you so much for tuning in, and see you guys later.